Hello, my name is Jack, and this is my review of the Freet calver. I already tried making this video once, but I ended up rambling for 12 minutes, so let's try and not do that again. Although I probably will. Context. I got these shoes a while back, and I just used them on a very, very intense backpacking trip in the Appalachians, North Carolina Appalachian Mountains. There's a lot of very steep inclines, very steep declines, very intense terrains, very wet. There was a thunderstorm. There was a lot of very dry sections on top of the mountains. There was very soft ground as well as very hard ground, lots of rocks. So I have a very wide range of different experiences with these shoes. First, going over some specs. There are 6mm lugs made of Freet's unique compound. There is the bottle yarn mesh, so it's recycled bottles. These are the TPU overlay, so it's like a plastic overlay over the mesh for added durability. The outsole is stitched onto the upper for more durability. There's a padded collar around the ankle, and I think that's all the basic specs. Oh yeah, for my size 9 shoes, these are about 10.7 ounces, so they are not a super lightweight shoe, but I think that's a good thing for what these are. First I'll go into the sole. The sole has these little tiny giblets, I've been calling them, little nubs for added grip, and they definitely do add a lot of grip. They're incredibly grippy soles. These are probably on par with a Vibram Mega Grip outsole that I had on my Ultra Olympus 4s in the past. And these are super duper grippy. I really appreciated that on wet rocks and on the mud. And yeah, they were the first shoes I've ever had to be able to confidently grip onto wet rocks, which is kind of weird. It feels weird to be able to stand on wet rocks, but these shoes were able to do it pretty well, which was very impressive. Granted, you have to be very careful with your footing. These little nubbins, when I first saw them, I thought those are going to wear out immediately. And I was right. You see right there. Can you focus? There we are. All like the nubbins there are pretty much gone. And, which I expected. I wasn't betting on those lasting 200 miles. But the thing is, even when those little nubbins wear out, there's still so much lug in the shoe. There's still 6mm of lugs. It doesn't matter, because even then, the rubber itself, it's still grippy. There's so much lug, and they're spaced pretty well that you'll still have really good grip, even without that little fancy lug stuff. So I personally think that's just kind of fluff that I don't really think needs to be there, especially if it's gonna wear out super quickly. But I don't know. I don't know. I feel like it might add costs. Who knows? Anyway, I feel like the sole will last a very long time, especially considering Freet has a very good reliability, like on their soles. Like if you've seen reviews for the Freet Feldum, people say those shoes have very, very long-lasting soles. Anyway, onto the sidewall stitch. I really appreciate that. I've had a lot of shoes delaminate in the past, especially hiking shoes, because of how hard you work them, and I really appreciate sidewall stitches on shoes just for durability. So that's what that looks like. It's very silly, lots of dirt in it now, but it doesn't matter because it's fine. It's strong, it's durable. I appreciate it. Anyway, this TPU overlay is what it is. TPU overlay. It adds a lot of strength to the mesh, because if you end up kicking any rocks, chances are it'll hit this plastic section instead of the mesh, and that'll just save your mesh, because the plastic is more durable, it's heavier, and it doesn't breathe as well, but that's why it's paired with the mesh. So you have the durable TPU with the breathable mesh, which makes it both durable and breathable at the same time, which I experienced. It's been pretty good. It's been very durable, and I've been pretty surprised with the mesh, with how durable it is, because I was really kicking a lot of rocks. I was kicking a lot of bushes. There was a lot of bushwhacking on this hike, and my past hikes as well. But the mesh is still holding up very, very well, which has genuinely surprised me, Because in the past, I've had a pair of Xero Mesa Trail 2s, and the mesh on those fell apart. They did not last to my hiking. But this has been very good durability-wise. I have really appreciated that. So the padded collar is a good thing and a bad thing. Well, it's by and large a good thing, but there are some things to consider. But if you were to consider pros versus cons, definitely a good thing. The padded collar makes so that it really locks in your heel. You can see there's quite a bit of padding, and it makes it much more comfortable. It keeps your foot from sliding around inside the shoe, so you're not going everywhere. And it makes it just a lot more comfortable and a lot easier to hike downhill and uphill. And it makes the shoe fit so much better. And I think all shoes should have a padded collar. But with a padded collar, there's something to consider. Whereas if you step in water, which I fell in a river, as you do on a backpacking trip, and all of the shoe dried out very quickly except for the padded collar. The padded collar is an open cell foam, so it absorbs water and it stays there. It's literally a sponge. And so it just held the water for like 2 hours while I was hiking, which was kind of really annoying because the rest of my foot was dry except for the collar, and it kind of felt really weird and gross. But I mean, if you're not getting your foot in water, that's fine. And also the fit improvement that the padded collar makes is a big, it's very worth it in comparison to just a bit wet. Let's go over performance now. These shoes, very grippy. I already mentioned with the sole, but I'm genuinely impressed with how grippy these are. It was very, very nice. Oh yeah, these are very minimalist insoles. This is a 2.5 millimeter, what they call an Air Max insole, but it's very minimal. You feel all the rocks. You feel them all hitting you. There's very little squish in them. There's actually like no squish at all. There's no squish. There's very little squish. Something like this is very good for high heat conditions because your feet have the ability to breathe more readily than with something like this, which is Freet's Ortholite insole, which personally, I prefer this. In the future, I'm just going to replace this insole with this one, but if your feet get super hot for some reason, this one would be useful. But I think the additional cushioning is important for something like backpacking, where you're just trying to get to where you're trying to go, instead of having the most ground feel. Because this insole is truly very minimal. It's even more minimal than the 2.5 millimeters would lead you to believe. Whereas this one, which is 3 millimeters, quite cushy. I quite appreciate it sometimes. Even though I've been wearing barefoot shoes for a year, when backpacking, I think some cushioning is appropriate. Also with these shoes, so the lugs are fairly spaced out, which gives opportunity to get stabbed between the lugs by rocks, which would be an issue. Getting stabbed hurts. It was an issue, most certainly. But what I appreciate is that Freet offers a rock plate, and so you can add a rock plate into the shoe and lessens that issue, and also adds more stability to the shoe, which most of the time I don't like stability. I like the thinnest, most flexible shoes ever for daily wear shoes. But for backpacking shoes, I want a bit of flexibility and rigidity because I like my feet to live when I'm trying to walk 20 miles a day. So I really appreciate that, and I will be doing a review of those rock plates in the future. But just a reminder, the lugs are very spaced out, very, very, very thin where there isn't lugs. It's, I think, 3 millimeters. No, 4.5 millimeters in the spots where there aren't lugs. So it's very thin. And if you get stabbed by a rock, it's going into your foot, and it hurts. So I think the rock plate is a very good idea for more intense terrain, which I'm going to do. And I really appreciate, once again, that they have that option. That's something I like about Freet shoes. They give you lots of variability and options for different sorts of scenarios. So they're very great for basically every single kind of situation. That's something I very much like about them. So getting stabbed by rocks, Doesn't feel very good. Very, very flexible. So that can be a con. For some people, that's exactly what they want. On the website, it says a 12.5 millimeter stack height, which is kind of scary because 12.5 millimeters is a lot of stack height. My regular daily wear shoes is a 4 millimeter stack height, which is the Freet Vibes, and those are very minimal. But most of the stack height is just these ginormous lugs. They're really thick lugs, so they'll last a while, and they grip really well in mud. So overall, this is a really good shoe. The mesh is very breathable, the lugs are very grippy, everything about it is very good. Except for the tongue. The tongue sucks, it's not padded, it's not good, it slides down a lot. The tongue isn't good, it's not a very good tongue. But the thing is, I can look past a really poorly designed and crappy tongue when the rest of the shoe is really high quality, really durable, and really effective. So overall, I would say these are really good hiking shoes and would be perfect for some people. And there's only really one actual downside. And there's a few things that you need to like consider, like the lugs, or like the space lugs you need to think about before you buy, and the thin soles you need to think about before you buy, but those aren't downsides. The only downside is bad tongue. It just slides down in your foot, and it's just kind of annoying. But everything else I love. I especially love the look. When I first got the shoes, they were very, very bright and orange, and they looked like shatteringly orange. But as you wear them in, the fade from black to orange, it looks better. And I think these are really good looking shoes now after some good wear. And yeah, I appreciate them a lot. I also have a pair of Freet Vibes and Freet Muddies, which I plan on reviewing in the future, if that's something good. I don't know. If anything, if there's demand, I guess. But that is all. Thank you very much. Good shoe. I appreciate it a lot. Very, very good. I say get it. It's a very good hiking shoe. Very, very, very reliable, I think. Anyway, bye-bye.